Florida is one of the most popular states in America. Millions of people move here every single year chasing sunshine, beaches, and that famous zero state income tax. But here's the part nobody warns you about. The average rent across Florida right now sits close to $2,000 a month. In Miami, a one-bedroom apartment will run you over $2,600. Even Tampa is pushing $1,500 for a basic one-bedroom. Orlando is not far behind. And once you add groceries, utilities, car insurance, and gas on top of that, you are looking at a monthly budget that feels more like New York than the Sunshine State. So when someone says you can live in Florida on $1,500 a month, the natural reaction is to laugh, or close the tab, or assume we are talking about some swap shack 40 miles from the nearest grocery store. But that is not what this is. In this video, we are breaking down 10 real Florida towns where $1,500 a month actually covers your basic living expenses. We are talking rent, food, utilities, transportation, real numbers from real places. And every single town on this list is an actual community with stores, hospitals, and people who chose to live there, not just ended up there because they ran out of options. Now, before we get into the list, let me set the ground rules for what $1,500 a month means in this video. We are building a simple monthly budget. Rent takes the biggest chunk, somewhere between $600 and $900. Groceries run about $250 to $300. Utilities, including electric, water, and internet, add another $150 to $200. Transportation, whether that is gas or basic car costs, adds roughly $150, and then you have a small buffer left for miscellaneous expenses. That is the framework. If a town's basic costs fit inside that box, it made the list. If they did not, it got cut no matter how charming the downtown looked in photos. Also worth noting, Florida has no state income tax. That means your Social Security check, your pension, your retirement withdrawals, none of it gets taxed at the state level. For someone living on a fixed income, that is a significant advantage that compounds every single month. The state does have a 6% sales tax, and property taxes average around 0.8%. But compared to states like New York, New Jersey, or California, the overall tax burden here is dramatically lower. One more thing. Florida's homeowners insurance market is among the most expensive in the country. If you are buying a home, factor in annual premiums that can range anywhere from $3,000 to over $8,000, depending on the age of the roof, the location, and the flood zone. For renters, this is less of a direct concern because your landlord absorbs that cost, but it does filter into your rent price indirectly. Just something to keep in the back of your mind as we go through this list. Alright, let us get into it. Starting with number 10. Number 10, Mariana. Mariana sits in the Florida Panhandle, Jackson County, about 70 miles west of Tallahassee and roughly 60 miles north of Panama City. Population is around 7,000 people. And according to multiple cost of living databases, this is statistically the single cheapest place to live in the entire state of Florida. The overall cost of living here runs about 18% below the national average. That is a massive gap. Rent in Mariana is genuinely low. You can find one-bedroom apartments and rental homes in the $700 to $850 range without too much effort. Two bedrooms often come in under $1,000. If you are on a $1,500 monthly budget and your rent is $700, you have got $800 left for literally everything else. In a town where groceries and gas are also below average, that math works. The town itself is quiet. It is rural. The downtown is small with a handful of local restaurants, a Walmart, a few dollar stores, and the basic retail you need for daily life. Florida Cavern State Park is right there, which is actually one of the only places in Florida where you can tour dry caves. It is a genuinely unique natural attraction that most Floridians do not even know exists. The Chipola River runs nearby and offers excellent kayaking and tubing during the warmer months. Healthcare is handled by Jackson Hospital, a small regional facility. For anything complex, you are driving to Tallahassee or Panama City, both about an hour away. Internet access can be spotty depending on exactly where you live, especially outside the town center. The honest downsides: there is not much to do. The job market is limited. If you need nightlife, dining variety, or cultural events, this is not your town. But for a retiree, a remote worker, or someone who simply wants their money to stretch as far as humanly possible in Florida, Mariana is hard to beat on pure affordability. The budget here does not just work, it breathes. Number 9. Palatka. Palatka is the county seat of Putnam County, sitting right on the banks of the St. Johns River about an hour south of Jacksonville. Population around 10,500. The cost of living here is roughly 18% below the national average according to Best Places data. and about 15% cheaper than the Florida state average. Rent in Palatka is remarkably low for a Florida town with actual infrastructure. One-bedrooms commonly land between $700 and $850 a month. The median rent across the broader area sits around $750. On a $1,500 budget, that leaves a comfortable cushion for everything else. Median home values hover around $100,000 to $110,000, which is almost unheard of in Florida these days when the statewide median has pushed past $400,000. The town has genuine character. It is an old river town with historic brick streets downtown and murals celebrating local history. The Florida Azalea Festival and the Blue Crab Festival bring in visitors from across the region every year. Ravine Garden State Park is right in town, a stunning natural area carved by ancient springs into dramatic ravines filled with azaleas and tropical vegetation. The St. Johns River offers fishing, boating, and kayaking. Ocala National Forest, the second most visited national forest east of the Mississippi, is a short drive to the west. St. John's River State College is based here, which provides some educational and cultural infrastructure that a lot of towns this size lack. For medical care, Putnam Community Medical Center handles basic and emergency needs. Anything specialized means a drive to Jacksonville or Gainesville, both roughly an hour away. Now, the things you need to know. The poverty rate in Palatka is high, around 37%. Median household income is low at about $32,000. Violent crime rates are above average. These are real factors that affect daily quality of life, and ignoring them would be dishonest. But if you are someone who does their research on neighborhoods, keeps to yourself, and values affordability above all else, Palatka delivers a lifestyle that costs a fraction of what most Florida towns charge. You are on a major river, near a national forest, an hour from Jacksonville, and paying what people in the Midwest pay for a town with no beach and 6 months of winter. Number 8. Bartow. Bartow is in Polk County, Central Florida, about halfway between Tampa and Orlando. Population around 21,000. This is the county seat, which means it has got the courthouse, government offices, and a small but functional downtown that a lot of small Florida towns lack. They call it the city of oaks and azaleas, and when you drive through in spring, you understand why. Massive old oak trees line the residential streets, and the historic district has genuine craftsman bungalows and Florida cottages that carry real architectural character without carrying an absurd price tag. One-bedroom apartments in Bartow typically rent between $700 and $850 a month. Median home prices sit around $200 to $230, which is well below the statewide average. On a $1,500 budget, your rent takes about half, and the rest covers groceries, utilities, and basic transportation without stress. The location is what makes Bartow punching above its weight. Tampa is about an hour east, Lakeland is 15 minutes north. You are within driving distance of theme parks, professional sports, international airports, major hospitals, and big box retail. But your daily life happens in a small town where parking is free and traffic does not exist. Bartow Regional Medical Center provides solid local health care, including emergency services, inpatient and outpatient care, and a range of specialties. You do not have to drive an hour just to see a doctor, which is a genuine advantage over many of the cheaper towns on this list. The Bloomin' Arts Festival every spring draws visitors from across the state. There is a small but growing food scene downtown. And the fact that this is a county seat means services, infrastructure, and road maintenance tend to be better than in unincorporated areas. The trade-off. Polk County summers are brutally hot and humid. Your electric bill from June through September will spike as air conditioning runs around the clock. Budget an extra $50 to $75 a month during peak summer. Also, Bartow is inland, so the nearest beach is about an hour and a half away. If ocean access is non-negotiable for you, this is not the pick. But for someone who wants Central Florida location and small-town prices, Bartow is quietly one of the smartest budget moves in the state. Number 7. Lake City. Lake City is in Columbia County, North Central Florida, roughly an hour west of Jacksonville and about 2 hours north of Orlando. Population is around 12,500, and this town consistently ranks as one of the cheapest places to live anywhere in the state. The cost of living index here sits around 81, meaning it is about 19% below the national average. That is a massive discount. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment averages between $700 and $900. Homes are available with median prices around $190,000 to $215,000 depending on the data source. For a $1,500 budget, Lake City is one of the most comfortable fits on this entire list. The town sits at the intersection of Interstate 75 and Interstate 10, which is actually a significant advantage. I-75 runs north to south, connecting you to Gainesville, Ocala, and eventually Tampa. I-10 runs east to west, connecting Jacksonville to Tallahassee and beyond. That crossroads position means Lake City has truck stops, chain restaurants, hotels, and more commercial activity than most towns its size. Ichetucknee Springs State Park is about 15 minutes away. If you have never floated the Ichetucknee River, it is one of the most beautiful natural experiences in all of Florida. Crystal clear spring water, lush forest canopy, and a lazy current that carries you downstream for a couple of hours. Oleno State Park and the Santa Fe River are also close by for hiking, caving, and swimming. The local economy is anchored by healthcare, distribution, and some manufacturing. Shands Lakeshore Regional Medical Center handles local medical needs. The University of Florida and its full medical system in Gainesville are only 45 minutes south, which is a major plus for anyone who might need specialized care. Downsides: Lake City is not glamorous. The dining scene is mostly chains. Entertainment options are limited. Summers are oppressively hot and humid, and the mosquito situation from June through October is no joke. But the numbers here tell a very clear story. This is a Florida town where $1,500 a month does not just cover the basics. It covers them with room to spare. And that interstate access means you are never truly far from a bigger city when you need one. Number 6. Inverness. Inverness is the county seat of Citrus County, about 90 minutes north of Tampa on the Nature Coast. Population is just over 7,000, and this is one of those towns that sneaks up on people because it does not have the name recognition of places like Ocala or Gainesville, but it quietly delivers one of the best value propositions in the state. The cost of living in Citrus County runs around 11 to 15% below the national average depending on the index you use. One-bedroom rentals in and around Inverness typically fall in the $800 to $950 range. Median home prices in Citrus County sit around $285,000, which is well below the Florida statewide average of over $400,000. On a $1,500 budget, the math works, though you are closer to the ceiling than some of the towns ranked lower on this list. What makes Inverness stand out is the lifestyle relative to the cost. This town sits on the Sala Apopka chain of lakes, which stretches for about 25 miles through the county. Kayaking, fishing, and birdwatching are not weekend activities here, they are daily life. The Withlacoochee State Trail, one of the longest paved rail trails in Florida, at over 46 miles, runs right through town. Cyclists, joggers, and walkers use it year-round. The downtown has a genuine old Florida charm. A small courthouse square, local restaurants, antique shops, and a community theater that hosts regular performances. Crystal River is about 20 minutes west, where you can swim with wild manatees during the winter months. One of the only places on Earth where that is legal. Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park is also nearby. For healthcare, Citrus Memorial Hospital is in Inverness, and it is a HCA Florida facility, which means it has resources that many small-town hospitals lack. The violent crime rate in Citrus County sits about 30% below the Florida state average, which makes this one of the safer, affordable options on the list. The honest downsides: Inverness does not have a ton of nightlife or shopping. The nearest major retail corridor is in Ocala, about 40 minutes east. The economy is primarily driven by healthcare and services, so job options for younger workers are limited. And the population skews older, as Inverness has historically been a retirement magnet. But if you are a retiree or a remote worker who wants natural beauty, low crime, accessible healthcare, and a monthly budget that fits inside $1,500, Inverness is a genuinely compelling option. Number 5. Sebring. Sebring is in Highlands County, south central Florida, about 90 miles south of Orlando and 80 miles east of Sarasota. Population around 10 to 11,000 in the city proper, though the broader area adds more. And this is lake country. Real lake country. Lake Jackson provides in-town waterfront access. Lake Espacpoga, about 20 minutes south, is Florida's 5th largest lake at roughly 28,000 acres and is famous for its bass fishing. In fact, Highlands County has over 100 named lakes, which gives the area a topography that feels completely different from the flat coastal sections of the state. The median home value in Sebring sits around $200,000 to $235,000, depending on the source and the time frame. Rent for one bedrooms can be found in the $750 to $950 range, and the overall cost of living runs well below both the state and national averages. On a $1,500 budget, Sebring is comfortable, not tight. Comfortable. Groceries are reasonable. Utilities are manageable. Gas prices track close to the state average. Your money has real purchasing power here. The town has a bit more infrastructure than you might expect. Advent Health Sebring is a full-service regional hospital covering Highlands County. There are chain restaurants, a movie theater, local shops, and a small downtown area that hosts events throughout the year. The Sebring International Raceway is home to the famous 12 Hours of Sebring endurance race, which has been running since 1952 and brings motorsport fans from all over the world every March. There are also structured retirement communities in the area, including resort-style setups with pools, fitness centers, and organized activities. The 55-plus manufactured home communities around Sebring offer some of the cheapest housing in the entire state, with lot rents that include water, sewer, trash, and lawn maintenance for around $350 a month. Now, the things to know. Sebring is inland and isolated. The nearest coast is about an hour in either direction. The job market is thin. Entertainment options are limited to what the town itself provides. Summers here are intensely hot and humid, and the area faces moderate to extreme risks from heat, wildfire, and severe wind events according to climate risk assessments. Flood insurance may be needed depending on your exact property location near the lakes. But for a retiree or budget-conscious individual who loves freshwater activities, wants a full-service hospital nearby, and needs monthly costs that genuinely stay under $1,500, Sebring is one of the most underrated picks in the state. Number 4. DeLand. Now we are getting into the part of the list where the quality of life starts to jump noticeably. DeLand is in Volusia County, about 35 miles north of Orlando, and 20 miles west of Daytona Beach. Population around 40,000. This is a real town with real infrastructure, a university, and a downtown that people actually want to spend time in. Stetson University, a private liberal arts school founded in 1883, anchors the town and gives it a cultural energy that most affordable Florida towns simply do not have. The campus hosts events, lectures, concerts, and art exhibitions year-round. The downtown strip along Woodland Boulevard is filled with independent restaurants, coffee shops, boutiques, and galleries. It is walkable, it is well-maintained, and it has personality. DeLand also happens to be the self-proclaimed skydiving capital of the world. Skydive DeLand at the municipal airport has been operating since the 1960s and holds multiple world records. Even if you never jump, watching skydivers float down while eating a burger at the airport restaurant is a surprisingly entertaining local pastime. Now, DeLand is slightly more expensive than the other towns we have covered so far. Average rent sits around $1,484 according to recent Rent Cafe data, with one bedrooms averaging around $1,200. That is tighter on a $1,500 budget. No question. But here is why it still makes the list. If you look beyond the large apartment complexes and explore smaller private rentals, duplexes, or shared housing situations, you can find options in the $1,900 to $1,100 range. The town also has mobile home communities and efficiency apartments that bring costs down further. Groceries and utilities in DeLand are close to the state average. The location gives you Daytona Beach in 30 minutes, Orlando in 45, and the St. Johns River on the west side. Blue Springs State Park, one of the premier manatee viewing spots in all of Florida, is less than 10 minutes from downtown. Healthcare is adequate with local facilities, and the Orlando Metro's major hospital systems are within an hour. Schools are decent. The vibe is college town meets old Florida. The catch is that DeLand is at the upper edge of what a $1,500 budget can handle, especially if you are renting at market rates. It works best for someone who is willing to be creative with housing and values culture, walkability, and location over raw affordability. If that is you, DeLand offers something none of the previous towns on this list can match, which is a daily life that actually feels dynamic. Number 3. Panama City. Not Panama City Beach. Panama City, the actual city that sits on St. Andrews Bay, about 10 miles from the beach, and carries a very different price tag. Population around 36,000. This is Bay County's hub for hospitals, government services, education, and commerce. And while Panama City Beach gets all the spring break headlines and tourist dollars, the city itself operates at a significantly lower cost of living. One-bedroom rentals in Panama City proper can be found in the $800 to $1,100 range, especially in neighborhoods away from the waterfront. The cost of living overall is close to the state average, but housing is where you save. Homes are available with median prices around $250,000 to $300,000, lower than you might expect for a Gulf Coast adjacent city. On a $1,500 budget, Panama City is workable if you target the right neighborhoods. The key is avoiding the beach-adjacent areas where tourist pricing inflates everything. Focus on the inland sections and you will find the everyday Florida that locals actually live in. The big advantage here is access. You are 10 minutes from one of the most beautiful stretches of white sand beach on the entire Gulf Coast. St. Andrews State Park is regularly ranked among the top beaches in the country. The bay offers fishing, boating, paddleboarding, and dolphin watching. You get legitimate coastal living without legitimate coastal prices, as long as you are willing to live a short drive from the shore instead of on it. Gulf Coast Regional Medical Center and Bay Medical Center, Sacred Heart provides solid healthcare coverage. Tyndall Air Force Base brings federal jobs and economic stability to the area. Gulf Coast State College adds educational resources. The critical context: in October 2018, Hurricane Michael made direct landfall on this region as a Category 5 storm. It was devastating. Parts of Panama City and the surrounding area were essentially flattened. Rebuilding has been extensive, and the city has made real progress, but the effects are still visible in some areas. More importantly, it means you absolutely must factor in hurricane preparedness, insurance costs, and flood zone considerations if you are buying property here. Homeowners insurance in coastal Bay County can be steep. For renters on a budget, though, Panama City offers a rare combination: Gulf Coast proximity, genuine city services, healthcare access, and monthly costs that can fit inside $1,500 if you know where to look. Number 2. Homosassa Springs. Homosassa Springs is an unincorporated community in Citrus County on Florida's Nature Coast, about 80 miles north of Tampa. The population of the census-designated area is around 14,000, and this place is genuinely unlike anything else on the list. The cost of living here sits about 12 to 17% below the national average. Housing costs are particularly low, with the housing index running more than 40% below the national average, according to Best Places data. One-bedroom apartments can be found starting in the $850 to $950 range, and the broader Citrus County area offers even cheaper options if you are flexible with exact location. Let us talk about why Homosassa Springs is at number 2 instead of buried in the middle of the list. This town has something that almost no other affordable Florida town has: manatees. Hundreds of them. Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park is home to a natural spring that stays 72 degrees year-round, and during the cooler months, West Indian manatees gather here in enormous numbers. The park also houses a captive hippo named Lou, who has been a Florida resident since the 1960s and was famously granted honorary Florida citizenship to avoid being relocated. You cannot make this stuff up. The spring-fed Homosassa River flows to the Gulf of Mexico and offers world-class fishing, particularly for redfish and snook. Kayaking and paddleboarding through the spring runs is the kind of experience that people pay resort prices for in other parts of the state. Here it is just Tuesday. Crystal River, the manatee swimming capital, is about 15 minutes north. The Gulf of Mexico is accessible by boat. Chassahowitzka National Wildlife Refuge provides thousands of acres of untouched coastal wetland to explore. For healthcare, Citrus Memorial Hospital in nearby Inverness covers the basics, and the larger Ocala and Tampa hospital systems are within driving distance for specialized care. The downsides are real. This is not a walkable community. You need a car for everything. Shopping options are limited, with serious retail requiring a drive to Ocala or Spring Hill. The dining scene is modest. Job opportunities outside of healthcare and service industries are slim. And the area is popular with retirees, which means the social scene caters overwhelmingly to that demographic. But on a $1,500 budget, Homosassa Springs gives you something genuinely rare: affordable Florida living surrounded by natural beauty that most people only experience on vacation. The springs, the river, the manatees, the Gulf access, it is all right there, and your monthly costs stay well within range. Number 1. Inverness's neighbor might have gotten more words, but the top spot goes to a town that arguably delivers the best all-around package on a $1,500 budget in the entire state. Number 1. Tavares. Tavares is in Lake County, Central Florida, about 40 minutes northwest of Orlando. Population around 17,000. The town sits on the shores of Lake Dora, which is part of the Harris Chain of Lakes, one of the most scenic freshwater lake systems in the state. Now, Tavares calls itself America's Seaplane City, and that is not just marketing. The Tavares Seaplane Base is a working facility, and watching seaplanes take off and land on Lake Dora is part of everyday life here. It gives the town a quirky, distinctive identity that separates it from the generic Florida retirement town template. According to recent data, average home prices in Tavares run about 16% below the Florida average, while crime rates are 29% lower than the state average. That combination of affordability and safety is genuinely rare. One-bedroom rentals can be found in the $800 to $1,100 range. The cost of living sits below the Florida average across most categories. On a $1,500 budget, Tavares is not the absolute cheapest option on this list, but it is the best value when you factor in what you are actually getting for your money. The downtown is charming and walkable with restaurants, shops, and regular community events. The Lakefront Pavilion and Boardwalk are popular gathering spots. Mount Dora, one of the most beloved small towns in all of Florida, is literally right next door, about 5 minutes away. Its craft fairs, antique shops, and restaurant scene are nationally recognized. Orlando is less than an hour southeast, which means theme parks, international airport, professional sports, and world-class hospitals are all accessible for day trips or appointments. Ocala National Forest is about 30 minutes north for hiking, springs, and camping. The Harris Chain of Lakes offers base fishing that draws anglers from across the country. For healthcare, Orlando Health South Lake Hospital is nearby, and the broader Orlando Hospital network is within reasonable driving distance. Schools in Lake County perform above the state average. The honest trade-offs. Lake County summers are hot. Like everywhere else in Central Florida, your electric bill will spike from June through September. The town is growing, which means what is affordable today might not be in 5 years. And while there is plenty of natural beauty, cultural events, and small-town charm, it is not a city. If you need urban amenities daily, you will feel the gap. But here is why Tavares takes the #1 spot. It is affordable enough to fit a $1,500 budget. It is safe, it has a real downtown, it is surrounded by beautiful lakes, it is close enough to Orlando to access anything you need. And the quality of daily life here is noticeably higher than in most towns at this price point. Affordable does not have to mean desolate. Tavares proves that. So there it is, 10 Florida towns where $1,500 a month is not a fantasy, it is a working budget. And finally, visit before you commit. Every town on this list looks different in person than it does in a YouTube video. Drive the streets, walk the downtown, eat at a local restaurant, talk to someone at the gas station. That will tell you more than any data point ever could. If you found this breakdown useful, make sure to subscribe to Inside Florida. We do deep dives like this every week covering the towns, trends, and realities of life in the Sunshine State. No sales pitch, no real estate sponsors, just honest information to help you make the best decision for your life and your budget. Drop a comment below telling us which town on this list surprised you the most, or if there's a cheap Florida town we missed that deserves to be here. We read every single one. See you in the next video.